people in the house. All right, guys. So obviously, this Airbnb training that we're doing is going to be very introduction to Airbnb. We're going to probably do a series 2 just to get a little bit deeper into this conversation. As the market is shifting, there's a lot of investors, a lot of individuals that obviously are starting to talk about Airbnb. Not so much on the beach, but you have Hollywood, you have the Hard Rock Hotel, and surrounding areas where Airbnb is becoming a lot more popular, right? So for us as real estate agents, not just with lifestyle, because we have other people from other brokerages from the area of Broward County and Dade County. So I welcome everybody to the webinar. Hopefully this is going to give you guys some insight on the Airbnb business, on what we could do as investors, as what we can do as realtors and how we work with investors. So we're going to hopefully give you guys some insight. Sidney is experienced. He does have some Airbnb rentals. He also is in the business and working with investors on it. So hopefully our goal is basically just to kind of give you guys some insight in regards to that. We'll answer some questions towards the end. We'll also have a survey for you guys towards the end. And again, it's going to be a basic introduction on how to find your resources, how to get a little bit more knowledge into the Airbnb world, which I think it's a good thing that we're getting into it. The market is shifting. So hopefully that will kind of steer our business and open our eyes and get familiar with different platforms out there that we can actually use. So, Cindy, brother, it's all yours.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Mo. Thank you, everyone, for coming out today. Thank you for the folks out there in the internet. Thank you for the love. I'd like to thank Lifestyle International Realty for this opportunity. This is, I think it's a great opportunity. Ever since I started working here with the brokerage, I've been getting a lot of questions about Airbnb, short-term rentals. So I figured it would be good for me to just go ahead and consolidate this information and share it with everybody here today. Again, I'd like to also thank the leadership, George. I'd like to thank Mo, Leslie, and Rick here in the Pines office. They have been definitely great mentors. They have definitely helped me throughout my trip. Just a short little information about myself. I got into the Airbnb game probably about 2 years ago, so I guess you could say I'm relatively new. I actually started first outside the state of Florida. A lot of people want to get in, but it's a bit expensive. So I always give people the advice: don't be afraid to leave the state of Florida. Our first home was a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom. It was totally redid, and we bought it for $100,000. Right now, it's in a small town, but the good thing about that small town, there's a hospital there. So we basically created a pipeline to where we get travel nurses to come into our property and, basically rent it out from us. Later on in the presentation, I'll show you different ways of finding nurses or finding different tenants to stay in your Airbnb properties, okay? With that being said, we'll go ahead and go to the slide presentation. I don't know if they see that on their screen. Right. So and then after that first property, we did move into Florida. So most of our properties is in Florida. I do have a business partner, my brother. My wife is also a partner of ours, and actually have other family members that are in there. Later on, I'll talk to you about some of the importance about having partners. Everybody wants to get that big return, but there's a lot of upfront costs that can be associated with this, and a lot of unexpected costs. So you definitely want to make sure you're set in the beginning. Start building out your assets and then go from there. I actually chose this route of going assets first so that later in my business, I can take that assets, use that money as a line of credit, and start flipping homes and then keep building up my wealth in that sense. There's different ways to do it, but we'll talk about some of that here. So in today's course, go ahead and go to the next slide. We're going to touch a little bit on some short-term rental facts. Short-term rentals, Airbnbs, probably say those words interjectively. They're the same thing. Verbal, there's other sites out there that you can actually use. We'll talk a little bit about active versus passive income. This could be a very busy job, or this could be something where you just sit back and just let the money come in. I prefer the latter. What to look for and where to look. A lot of people always ask that question. That's one of the main questions that I get from a lot of folks. Hey, where do I look? What do I look for? Again, it's a business, right? So at the end of the day, you got to understand how you want to run your business and what's going to be good for you. Because what's good for me may not be good for everyone else. So, you'll find your niche, but I'll introduce you to some of those things. Recommended must-haves. These are just, in my opinion, some of the things you need to have to run a good, successful Airbnb. Without some of these, I feel like you're just going to cause yourself a lot of stress and headaches. Potential pitfalls. I'm going to let y'all know it's not easy. Everyone always want to talk about how much money you can make and all that good stuff. Yes, you can, but you can have sleepless nights. You're dealing with people, and people could be tough sometimes. It's just the approach you take. All right. Some short-term rental platforms. We all know Airbnb. I'm going to introduce you to a few others. There's actually one that I really like. I'm going to tell you about it, so just stick around. All right. There'll be other tips that I'll give out, and then at the end, we'll go ahead and take a few questions. All right. To the next slide. All right, just a few facts about Airbnb short-term rentals here. There's about 660,000 of them throughout the U.S. So, man, that's a lot. Just think about it. Like, man, 50 states, you got all that. And these Airbnbs come in all different forms. You have single family, vacation homes. I've seen cabins. I've seen tree houses. People do rooms. I got neighbors in my neighborhood with Airbnb rooms. So there's many Airbnbs out there. There's many opportunities, many ways to get into it. Airbnb alone has 7 million listings throughout the world. 120 million international visitors come to Florida, right? Since the pandemic, a lot of people have changed their mindset and where they want to stay. The hotels, you get a 1-bedroom hotel for $150. Nowadays, you can go to Airbnb, you get the same thing with 3 bedrooms. You can have all your family in one roof. I mean, to me, that's a no-brainer. So that's something that everybody here can actually invest in. Later on, I'll tell you ways that you can actually get into, even inexpensive ways. 42% investors, 39% of vacation buyers paid cash. So that means most people leverage it, right? A lot of people are like, hey, I don't have any cash for this. How am I going to do this? I mean, there's loans out there. There's mortgage brokers that can help you in your situations. Call one up. They're going to help you. You can't plan what you're going to do without actually having the professionals letting you know what you're qualified for. So we'll get a little bit more into that. Since 2018, the average daily rate has risen consistently, and it's almost 50%. So in 2018, if you were charging $100 today, your room is going to be $150, basically. So the rates have been going up. These Airbnb hosts are getting money throughout the years. It's been a proven model. And like I said, I feel like a shift has happened since the pandemic. 49% of vacation buyers use it for themselves. Why not, right? Why not get a nice little home that, hey, I don't have to spend a hotel. You ever go to those people who are trying to sell you timeshares? And they're like, hey, man, you get 2 weeks. What 2 weeks? The worst 2 weeks of the year, right? And then you can never organize it. You can never get all the family together to go out there. Why not just invest one of these instead? Instead of putting 15, 20,000, get 5 of your family members and you got to do that. Buy one of those. They got these ginormous 10-bedroom homes, 15-bedroom homes in Orlando. I mean, it's stupid, but hey, it's a great investment. We could always plan our, family vacation and we could make money on it. So, depending on how much, how cool you and your family are, you could go ahead and source that yourselves or some good friends. So forget timeshares, let's go ahead and get a vacation home. And on average, it varies. For popular locations, Miami, consider that as popular. It's about $186 to $978 a night. It depends what you have, from studios all the way down to, you got mansions out here that are fabulous. So those are just some facts to just keep in mind as it pertains to short-term rentals. The next slide, please. All right, just to kind of tell you a little bit about active and passive. A lot of folks, we work here as realtors. That's considered active income. It's a salary earned. We work at specific times. We got to do our job. We got to put in the work. Same thing with Airbnb. You can be an active owner. You can go in there yourself, and you'll hire your cleaning crew. You'll take care of the customer service and facing and all of that. Cool. You probably save a little bit of money. But I can explain to you later how, maybe you do save a little bit of dollars now, but at time, especially if you're trying to grow, that time you spend trying to, tend to that home, it's time wasted on, trying to expand, find the next home, the next project to scale up, right? So it is time consuming. It's, you deal with tough guests, but I would advise on your first one, you probably do want to do it so that you can learn the ins and outs of it, right? So you go in there yourself. You understand what it takes. You understand what the customers are coming at you with. And then once you decide to scale up to the next one, second, third home, then probably you go ahead and hand that over to like a property manager. All right, and then there's the passive income. That's the way I do my homes. After the first home, after I learned everything, the ins and out, I went ahead and got a property manager, and I just sit back, wake up some mornings, and just watch the money come in, and it feels great. So there's nothing like it. So that's the way I would advise for folks eventually, if you want to scale up, you're trying to build out your business or whatnot. Airbnbs can become a second job if you do want to be an active owner, but it's up to you how you want to do it. All right. Slide. All right. So here's what to look for. Right. Again, this is the question everyone's asking. What do I look for? But everyone has a preference at the end of the day, right? There's really no wrong answer of what to look for. I like the beach. You may like the mountains. You may like somewhere out and secluded, who knows, in the Amazon somewhere, right? So for me, these to me are some of the things that you probably can't miss if you find some of these places. Hospitals, right? Travel nurses are always traveling. Other people in those fields are always traveling. When you have a nice big hospital, those are usually bigger towns where you got traffic coming in and out. That is just huge. And these travel nurses, they get stipend money, right? So you're getting a nice home. You'll pair up with another travel nurse. Like I said, why stay at a hotel when we each got our own room paying $150 and it's loud? I can't sleep during the day because I work overnight. Versus, hey, I got a home. Two of my other nurse buddies, they're there with me. We'll just go ahead and rent out this home. Probably cost them a little more, but the peace of mind, I could cook me a meal and then I can go to bed. No one's going to bother me. So to me, that is one of the best ones. And again, I'm going to show you a platform where you can actually target those people, not only travel nurses, but mostly professionals. I prefer professionals, of course. I don't want people partying in my house. The cleaning lady, she never likes that, right? So go ahead and try to get those folks in there. Attractions, Florida, as you know, Orlando, Miami Beach. You got to be careful with some areas, right? You got to understand the zoning. You got to understand if Airbnb is allowed. So as a realtor, if you're working with an investor, understand that stuff, right? They're coming at you and they're telling you, hey, this is what I want to do. So it's up to you, right? This is the value that we add to them. It's up to you to understand, because every area is different, right? I can't tell you what happens here in Miami is the same as in Orlando. It doesn't, right? So it's your job to make sure that your investor is equipped with that information, or for yourself as well. You understand the rules, understand the regulations, and then you go ahead and build from that. Military bases, people like to visit their family there, and there's actually stipends, government stipends can provide housing for around military bases out there. Sports town, you won't believe it. Tuscaloosa, Alabama is like the number 2 revenue generator during the fall. Why? University of Alabama. They love their football that much that you can make so much money. Think about that. Tuscaloosa, what does a house in Tuscaloosa cost me? But dang, how much? Just because people love their football that much. So again, this is one of those think outside the box, leave the state, because you could probably get something cheaper that actually could make you more money. Maybe it's in the season, but in the long run, at the end of the year, you'll be sitting nice, right? Not the Dolphins, right? Probably not the Dolphins, but give me a year, 2 of them, we'll give them one more year. But don't be afraid, again, I keep on arguing this, don't be afraid to leave the state. Find a realtor, if you have to leave the state, or people who are coming into Florida, hire a realtor. There's different areas, there's different pockets that folks don't know about. Your realtor will help you, I can assure you that. And then I mentioned earlier, someone you want on vacation. Now you got to do research, right? So you're going to get into it. You're going to invest money. That's one of the biggest things. People don't want to invest that money and lose the money. And it's like, oh my goodness, what did I do? Do your research, right? Everything could be a gamble. If you're going to go in there with no research, you're going to probably crap out. But you go in there, you know what you're doing. You're more likely to succeed. Airdna.co. It's .co, right? I didn't leave out the M. It's .co. Then you can go put in the zip code of an area. You can see how many Airbnbs are in that area. You can see how much they're charging for those Airbnbs in those areas. So now you got a point of reference so that when you build out your business, you know what to, charge people. You know what kind of mortgage you could get into, right? That's another thing I'm gonna mention later. Get a mortgage broker, understand what you pre-qualify. Because once you have that number, then you can put in your costs. Then you can understand how much money you're going to make each month, right? Research on Airbnb. Airbnb is going to cost, right? All right. Sometimes you got to pay, to get that market research to understand. That's just the cost of business. You can also go on Airbnb, look at certain areas, look at people's what they're charging. Look at their calendars. Are they being booked? You know, certain times of the year, what are they charging? You know, so that's free research. You know, it's right there. All you got to do is pick the area you want to go into and then just go ahead and source it. Which type of properties for the location? I'm actually working on a property right now in Ocala. I told some of you about it. It's a piece of land. And I actually went out there with a contractor because I was thinking, hey, let's just build a house out there. It'll be nice. And it's actually an area where you can go canoeing and stuff. It's in the Ocala National Forest. But when I went out there with the contractor, he's like, hey, look, you know, that might be a little bit too much for this area. Let's just go ahead and put some mobile homes, get the nicest mobile homes, and you'll have people there. So that was one of those things, you know, I was with a professional. He basically educated me on the right way to go on it. And it's actually way better because I'm paying half the price for this. And I can charge basically the same thing, so I come out winning at the end of the day. So know what type of properties fit where, you know, by the beach, you probably almost gonna want that beachfront. You know, people were clamoring for that. And other areas, just understand short-term rules and regulations. I do have the rules and regulations, so afterwards, if anyone's looking for those, you can reach out to me. I have them specifically for Florida, so if you are looking out of the state, you probably have to do that research. But if you do need Florida, I have it for the cities. So you kind of have an idea, again, the realtors that'll help you out with potential investment. All right. I've been talking about running the numbers. Everybody, it's your own business. You can ask me how much I make, but I run my business a certain way, right? You're going to run it a certain way. You're going to have different costs than I do. So understand what your costs are going to be. I have different spreadsheets that I put together for each one of my homes. I understand what my averages are so that when I do get into the next home, I know what I'm going to spend. So one thing, just going back, when you do that first home, make sure you keep track of everything. Put down checklists. Put down what you bought for each room. Put down what it costs you to furnish the home. Put down, you know, everything, what it costs you to turn on utility, how long it took you. You want to set a little timeline for yourself. Hey, all right, I just bought this home. I need to make sure I turn on the utilities and everything now. The Wi-Fi, all right, at this point, I need to make sure all the rooms are furnished. I need to create the listings on Airbnb, whatever the platform is. All right, now it's out. I need to get a property manager. Make sure you got that. You know? Once you got that for the first home, all the other homes is going to be easy. It's just going to be plug and play, and you just move on to the next one. And it's easy to go ahead and scale up.
What kind of numbers are important for investors or realtors to pay attention to when we're for that?
Well, when you're doing your financials, again, this is why I say get with a mortgage broker or get with a finance company. You got to understand what if you're not going to pay cash, you need to understand what your mortgage is going to look like every month. So get with someone who's going to give you that number so you know. Don't go in there blind and say, hey, just look at homes and just kind of, hey, I want that one, and not even understanding that, hey, you know your mortgage is going to be $2,500 plus everything else. And then, you know, you'll have your costs. When you're running an Airbnb, you're gonna pay the electricity. You're going to pay, you know, Wi-Fi. You're going to pay exterminators. You got to get that in Florida if you're out here, and other little service that you're going to. So just understand the stuff that you do at your home. Expect to do at these homes. Your home breaks down. You understand the cost you have at your home. This is going to happen here too. So plan that out. Understand that. Put money away in your reserve. I put a few $1,000s away for each home so that when something happens, I have it and I can just go ahead and grab that money, and then with the rest of the money, I either pay down the home or I'm actually starting to buy life insurance, but that's another story, right? Here's another thing that you can do to get in, right? A lot of people, I don't have money, you know, typically it's gonna cost you 20% to get into these homes, right? There are investment properties. Well, that depends on your credit.
Unless it's a vacation home.
Unless it's a big, well, they're not unless it's a big.
So you could get a vacation home for less than 20% as your secondary vacation home.
Go. So vacation home, there goes the angle there.
You'd be able to still do your vacation home Airbnb.
There you go. So vacation homes, there's a new for where you can go under 20. Again, it's 20 to 30 when you talk about rentals, depending on your credit or whatnot. Rental arbitrage. I actually have a cleaning lady in one of my properties in Jacksonville. She basically went ahead and called people who are doing for rent by owner and said, hey, I want to get your property. I'm going to pay you a little bit more. I will have eyes on your property. And I'll give you monthly updates on what's going on with your property. I will have people cleaning up your property. If there's any damages, I'll take care of those damages in your property. Let me get your property. And most of those people said no to her, but she actually got like 4 of them where they said yes. She got them there as an Airbnb. She has it on a 1-year lease, so she's not tied to like a 30-year mortgage. She just kind of, hey, I'm getting my income. I'm getting the cash flow in. So she started getting this cash flow, and now she's saving up the money. And now she's going to go ahead and use that money to go ahead and put it on the deposit of her first actual home that she's actually going to own. So now she's going to get some assets. She started her cash flow. Now she bought some assets. She'll get additional assets. Eventually, those assets will grow in value, and she can use that money to go ahead and buy her next Airbnb. She actually got into the countries from Vietnam. She got here not too long ago. Started with nothing and decided, hey, I'm gonna go do it. Right? It's a mindset at the end of the day. Right? A lot of people will give you all the excuses why you can, but it's got the right mindset. I'm sure you can do anything if you just look into it. Right? Next one, the must-have: a property manager. I mean, yeah, that property manager to me, it just saved me so much time. I don't have to deal with these customers are tough, all right? I've had customers who, like, they actually go out there to find ways to get out of your home. They'll damage your home they'll call you at all times at night. They won't leave it. Get a property manager, right? And there's different levels of property managers. There's property managers that'll do everything that's there on that list for you. They'll hire the lawn maintenance folks. They'll hire the handyman. They'll take care of that. All you do is just sit there and collect. And there's others that, hey, look, I'll just deal with the customers. I communicate with them. You go ahead and you find out the handyman and everything. I'll dispatch them for you, but you do all that, or there's just some that's all they just handle the customer, and it's up to you. Again, that's the levels of passive and active ways you take care of that property. All right. Other things are handyman, lawn maintenance services, exterminator, Florida, please get those, because I'll tell you, people will complain about roaches and they'll try to leave your property off of some roaches, but if you live here, rainy season, what happens. All right. Take as many pictures as possible. Again, there are people who take your stuff. There are people who will damage your stuff. So when it's time to make a claim, make sure you just have pictures so that you can show to whomever is Airbnb or however you set up that short-term rental. Start an LLC, open a business account, folks. All right. Don't try to just, hey, it's going to be personal. There are litigious people out there, unfortunately. I've had situations where a person wouldn't go, hey, I'm gonna call a lawyer because he wouldn't get back his fine, his Airbnb fee. I could give him a refund of what I, for my night, but Airbnb typically keeps it, and he's already telling me, hey, he's gonna call his lawyer. So for reasons like that, you want to make sure you got your LLC, everything's on that. You got your business account. Again, you want to have that with whomever so that later on down the line, you build your line of credit, and then you can use that to actually purchase your next few homes. Security cameras, you gotta have security. People want to feel safe, right? That's the main thing. If they don't feel safe, they're not gonna want to stay there. That's the number one way a person can get out of an Airbnb is security. And they say, hey, look, I don't feel safe. The door is broken. There's no cameras. I want out. You gotta give them a full refund. There's no debating it. That's it. So make sure you do that. Put a security camera on the front door. Put one on the back, only facing the door. You actually cannot face the backyard because that's considered private. Someone may want to go skinny dipping in your pool. Who knows? That's their prerogative. They're allowed to do that, but you're not allowed to record it. All right. You can't have a camera inside the home. All right. So cameras stay outside. Make sure people feel safe. And I mentioned earlier checklist. Have a checklist for everything. It makes things easier. Have one for your cleaning lady. Have one for when you set up. Have one for just everything. Okay. Potential pitfalls. Again, we always want to talk about the goods, the money, everything coming in. Bad guess you're going to get one out of everything. And again, it's not that anything you did wrong. It's just that you can't satisfy everyone. I remember my first bad guess. I felt like, oh my goodness, was wrong, whatever. But then after a while, you're like, man, why didn't the first 10 guests not say anything in the last 10? So eventually you learn. One thing you need to make sure you do when you do own these is have great customer service, right? Things are going to happen. Make sure you're responding to them quickly. Someone said the AC's off, hit them up. Let them know, hey, we're going to get somebody on it right away. And, just let them know action is happening. There's nothing worse than you go on vacation, you're trying to get somebody, hey, someone come fix the AC, and then reply to you 4 hours later. You're going to hate that. You're already, no matter what happens moving forward, that's going to be your thought. These people suck. But turn around and reply within that minute, and maybe it does take that full day, but there's something where, all right, they're engaged, all right, they're going to get someone, I know it's going to happen. There's a big difference there. It's a big difference. That could be a big difference in your reviews, right? Your reviews is very important because that's what people, I don't know about you guys, but anything I buy, everywhere I go, I look at the reviews, even though reviews are a bit sketchy nowadays because you can kind of pay for all that stuff, but still, right, you want to kind of get a second opinion on things like that. So just go ahead and make sure you're tending to the customers. Just do it, make Burger King have it your way, at the end of the day. Competition, you got to stand out, right? When you come to Miami, there's beach property everywhere, right? What are you going to do to stand out? There will be days, there could be times when you get into an investment like a short term like this, where man, you went a whole month without actually booking it. What do I need to do now? How do I promote this now? How do I make sure people are going to see mine and stay at mine, right? So those are things you got to plan for. That's the reason why I mentioned earlier. I keep that rainy day money aside because, all right, you know what? I need to go ahead and make sure I pay that mortgage with that rainy day this month, but we'll go ahead and build that back up. I mentioned the LLCs. Make sure you protect yourself. That's with any type of business. Always protect yourself, right? And then you can take it up to the escrow or whatnot. And then renters insurance. I mentioned that because I do a lot of short-term rentals off of those platforms for mainly for the reason because I can get more money that way, right? Instead of someone going on Airbnb and paying Airbnb money, I can say, hey, I'll save you some of that money. I'm gonna take some of that for myself, of course. But you're gonna save money at the end, and I'm gonna make a little bit more. So there's a sweet spot there, and there's ways to actually get that. Next one, please. All right, Airbnb. I've been saying Airbnb. There are different platforms out there. Anybody heard of Verbal?
Yeah.
It used to be Home Away. Anyone knows what Verbal stands for?
Vacation rental.
Vacation rental by owner. So so basically it's the same concept, just another option that people have there. But one of the ones that, man, this is a gem. Furnished Finder. Write that one down. If you're gonna do this, this is where you find the nurses. They're on Furnished Finders. They hit me up so many times, it makes me want to buy more homes because I'm like, man, I have nothing for you. They come, they'll stay there for 3 months, 6 months, a year at a time. And it's not just nurses, you get other professions. Construction workers who are working on a project, they find me through that. People who are moving through Florida, that's happening a lot in my Jacksonville home. Hey, I'm building out my home. I need somewhere for 3 months. It was all Furnished Finder. To me, it's my favorite. Because again, once I find them there, I could set up a contract off of the platform there, and there's no fees to them. Like Airbnb, there was one time where this one lady, she paid me $6,000 for staying at one of my properties, and she paid Airbnb $1,000. I'm like, man, listen, if you go on Furnished Finder and book me through there, pay me $6,500, and you'll save the other $500. So I got a little bit more. She saved a little bit. Everybody won. Why not? Let's do it. Yeah, everyone's happy, right? So Furnished Finder, write it down. That's one of the ones that, to me, it's a hidden gem. All right, short-term contract. Once I find them on Furnished Finder, I have a short-term contract written up. Get that done. MLS. You could actually find short-term rentals on the MLS. You can promote your short-term rental on the MLS. I see them all the time. Where it costs a certain price during the off season, and then they'll jack up once the season starts up. So that's another platform you can actually have that. Now, if you're someone who's planning on scaling up, there are tools that can help you stay organized. Property management tools. One of the ones I was using is called Uplisting. It basically, if you have listings on Booking, Verbal, Airbnb, and people are booking at different sites, you got to make sure you keep track of your calendar, right? Because you can run into a double booking. That actually happened to me one time where someone was in the property and then someone else booked it during that time because one of the calendars wasn't marked off on the other platform. So if you scale up, that is a problem. And I paid that person back. Everything was good. Nothing for us. But these type of tools right here, they will go ahead and organize the calendars for you. So if someone books on Airbnb, they'll clear out on Verbal, clear out on Booking, and everything like that. So you don't have to, make that error and have that, unfortunate situation. And then there's Price Tools, which is it's a tool that helps you maximize the revenue. So it'll tell you based on kind of, what's going on with the market. Airbnb kind of has their own built-in tool like that, but I feel like this one works a little bit better. I feel like I've been able to maximize my revenue a lot more using that tool. So those are different tools you can use. Those are different platforms you can find folks and market your property. So take those down. All right, and then just last thing, these tips here. When you purchase a home, try to get something with a new roof and a new AC. The reason why I saved the money I do is so I can be able to fix things. But the things I don't want to go fix is my roof and my AC. You will definitely take a big hit on your books, right? At the end of the day, the money I save, if the refrigerator goes out, the stove goes out, a couple things, the door holds, I can get those fixed, no problem. So when you buy your home, try to find homes with new ACs and new roof. Put away rainy day cash. I've been telling you guys about that, making sure you have that. Protecting your rating. The way you do it is you just stay steadfast. You talk to the folks, make sure that everyone's happy. Just keep them happy. And then when you start your Airbnb and you post it out there, you probably want to start at a low entry point to kind of generate the people. Again, comments. The goal of that is to try to generate the comments so that people start seeing it and like, all right, let me get it in. Of course, a good price. People like the price. All right. Next, so some of the takeaways from today, guys. If you're an investor, hire a realtor. Again, Florida is a lucrative market for this, right? The people coming into Florida to move here, people are always here to vacation. And now investors are coming in, buying up properties, get these folks here. Hire a realtor. The realtor will be able to help you. They'll understand the rules, the regulation. They'll be able to help. And it also helps when you're trying to scale up. It takes time to find property. If you're trying to do it yourself, you're taking away time from scaling up to search for property. Let your realtor do that for you. Let your realtor feed you, and then when other properties do come, they'll get that to you, and you'll spend that time on building your business. Find a property manager, let them handle that for you. Make this thing as passive as you can. Starting an LLC, I mentioned earlier, folks. Protect yourself. Get with a mortgage broker. I got a lot of people say, "Hey, I'll talk to you in December. I'll be ready then." Well, hey, how about we get you pre-qualified now, or how about we talk to them so you could understand when December comes around. This is what you're going to use. This is how much money you have. And at the same time, I'll send you home. So maybe, hey, something does come up between now and then. And you're like, whoa, you know what? There goes the deal. The deal may not be there in December. It may be there in August, but you'll miss it unless you have that realtor and who can actually get you with a mortgage company. And like I said, run the numbers. Everybody's business is different. Make sure it makes sense to you. You're not paying cash and you're financing. Make sure you understand the expenses. I do have spreadsheets and stuff or whatnot. I can share with you some of the most common expenses that I experience. Just hit me up afterwards. For realtors, understand the rules and regulation of the area, right? People are hiring you. Make sure you got that value added. A lot of investors come to Florida for this purpose. Understand where they can set up shop. Understand the zoning. You see these homes. Understand if you can actually put Airbnbs and short-term rental properties there, right? That's your job, right? And then network with the property managers. The next question they're going to ask you once you find their home is, hey, do you know a good property manager? Right? So have one of those that you can refer to the investor. Help them out, man. Make it easier on them. That's your job. That's my little takeaways for you guys to do as you progress with it. So with that being said, that's all I have. Thank you, everybody, for your time. Again, if you're an investor and you're looking for a realtor here in South Florida, and you don't already have one, I'm here. My name's right there. You can see all the information. But if you do, get with them today. Don't wait, man. Prices may go up. Not prices, but interest rates may be going up and down, but you can always refinance. But with the homes, I'm telling you, since the beginning of time, prices been going up. So go ahead and take care of that. And there's also a property manager link down in the bottom if you're looking for a property manager. It's right there. Thank you very much. And
Before we go, anybody in person, we have people in person, or anybody on the webinar, if you have any questions, shoot it now so we can try to address any questions. And I have a couple questions as well. Do you know the percentage in regards to buying an investment property and renting it in regards to buying an Airbnb, right?
Mhm.
And renting it on the Airbnb, what's the percentage of income in comparison to a yearly lease? Just if you have a rough idea.
So here's an idea. Here's my first home, actually. I was going to just put it out there on the market for people just to rent it, right? So my property manager, who happens to actually be the mayor at the town and teaches real estate at the school and sells life insurance. But that guy, he was the one who basically said, hey, look, if you get someone regular to rent it, $700-800 with furniture, everything. That same property I have on Airbnb, I rent that property off for $2,400. The same property that if I just rent it out locally for regular folks, $800, I'm getting $2,400. But again, that's because I got travel nurses in there. I got travel nurses there. I got stipend room. It's a nice home, and they got other nurses that they're in the house with. So instead of taking that 800 from someone local, I'm getting 20, anywhere from 21 to 2,400 on that house right there, just because I went through Airbnb. And one thing I always thought to myself, like, hey, look, I'll get into the Airbnb, and if things dry up, it's easy for me to get out of there and then just put it on the market as a year rental versus I put it on the market for a year rental and then, oh man, you know what? Man, I want to turn it to Airbnb. Oh, I got 10 more months before I can do that. So that's one thing you can try that, put your foot in the water, and if you have to pull back, all right, I'll just put it on the market for rental and then we'll go back if we need to after a year.
Guys, don't forget to put your questions. I do have one more question. I'll go to you. Everybody needs to do their research, right? But just would you let everybody know the zoning that people need to take a look at if we're going to sue Airbnb for at least 90 days for our account?
When you say the zoning, like which areas to look at?
House.
Yeah, and again, there's you'll be surprised that there really, when it comes to Miami Beach, there really isn't a lot of areas that are zoned for it. So you can, again, I have the material, I can send it to you folks. Just hit me up on an email and I can show you those areas. But reach out, reach out to the person, the seller. If you're a realtor, reach out to them, find out, man. I'm telling you, a lot of people won't put that information. They'll say it's for Airbnb, but go and make sure you reach out to the folks and find that out, because there's nothing worse than, leading an investor on, letting them think, hey, we got it, it's going to happen. And the next thing you know, it's a zoning issue and that one falls through, and then there goes a little bit of doubt because of that, because you didn't do your homework going into it, right? So reach out to them. Sometimes they want to reach out to the city. I mean, there are different ways. You go online and find out, hey, look, I'm looking to find Airbnb this exact area. Hey, well, what's the zoning? Let you know. If it doesn't happen, know that up front. Talk to your investor and just move on. Right? Good question.
So when you do Airbnb, does it completely switch up the tax benefits you would have if
Yes.
it were a rental opportunity?
Yes, it's an investment property, so you will pay more in your taxes, right? Because there are, again, it varies. Again, this is where you have to know the local rules and regulations. Certain areas will charge you, what we call it, the hotels, they charge the same thing. Resort fees type taxes. There's some that won't. So you got to understand, but overall, yes, you will end up paying more in taxes, no matter where you go. Like, how much you pay will depend on what city and what their rules are for that. Yes.
Any questions here?
They had some questions on, but we actually answered them, so.
I appreciate the information, guys, for everyone that's out there. Again, this is just really for information that we're trying to provide you guys, because, obviously we have to get experience and understand things for our clients, for us to work with our clients, right? So it's just an added tool for you guys, just information that you guys can take away with it. If you have an investor, you need any help, this guy will be happy to help you guys go through the process. Just send us a message and we'll go from there. Thank you, everybody that attended in person. We appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. You guys, thank y'all.
Was good,